Our thoughts on this weapon were, what would a Mosin or Kar98K look like if it had been machined by some extension of the Roman Empire into the Industrial Revolution? So the name of the enemies who use this rifle are, forgive my pronunciation, Kure Toksote, which pretty much means maiden archers. So after I've blocked out the main shapes, I start preparing the weapon for sculpting in ZBrush. And a bit like the concept, I thought this weapon would look quite interesting with some ornamental details sculpted into the hard wax stock, and moulded ornaments on the machined metal elements as well. I paid particular attention to the loading mechanism, because in our game, every weapon shares one type of ammunition called an ammo sphere, but I still wanted to preserve the bolt action loading mechanism on a Mosin. I've tried to get the best of both worlds, where the bolt action siphons energy from the ammo sphere. In Substance Painter, I tried to stay close to our usual black and gold aesthetic, with an extra Roman or Spartan style red hint here and there. The red paint inlay writing on the barrel is an Orphic hymn to Hephaestus, because the Orphic rites play a big role in the story aspect of Perish. As usual, this weapon was a great learning experience, and there are a couple of things we need to improve. The scope is honestly not that useful in first person, and the iron sights are much more useful to the player in a game that almost always involves claustrophobic close to mid-range combat.
Now that we have the model, the next challenge is to create the first-person animations for it. We use motion capture as the base of all of our first-person animations, so I decided to experiment and try 3D printing a bolt so that I could get as close to the bolt action movement as possible. I've been using this 3D printed VR stock as a prop for recording weapons, and it has a rail on the top that I can print new attachments for. Once the inner cylinder is printed, I glued the handle on through the slot in the outer shell, and then I could get a reliable bolt action movement. I slot the rest of the stock on to make it long enough, and we're ready to record. Grabbing the Rococo motion capture suit, I try my best to look really cool and like I'm firing the rifle before racking the bolt back. This becomes the base motion for the first-person animations of the gun in-game. Once it's all recorded, I export it from Rococo Studio and then import it into Motion Builder for cleanup and adjustments. This is a really time-consuming process and sometimes tedious, but the quality of the animation we can get out of it is far beyond anything we could hand animate ourselves. Now it's time to put it all together and pop some heads.